Every great company and every great business starts from a person. Person with a great mindset, with a powerful will, and some probably good intuition. But the most important is the knowledge that this person got from somewhere. Even though we live in the fast-paced technology world where short videos, short messages, and wisdom is the main idea and the main source of information, on my opinion, the books are still the most important source of wisdom, knowledge, and some guidance. In this video, we're going to be talking about the most important books that should be taught in high school. Hi, I am Alena Goso, the founder of Soapymania, where we sell our handcrafted soaps and bath treats all over the United States. Today, we're going to be talking about my favorite books, my favorite authors, and all the wisdom that I got from them. But before we start, please click like and subscribe button. I really appreciate that. All right, let's go. Number 1, the one and only Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich. I know. This book is so old. It was written almost 100 years ago. In fact, it was 1937, if I'm not mistaken, that it was published first, and that it had like millions editions after this and million revisions by other authors. But this book is like classics. It never gets old. There is so much wisdom in it. In this book, Napoleon Hill gives step-by-step direction on how to become successful. And despite it being that old, it's still valid. It was based on 20 years of experience and studies of successful people. And treat this book as a Bible. So there's like 13 steps on how to become successful, how to become great, how to become good. So you can apply his principle not only in business, not only how to become successful, how to become rich, but also in regular life. So you don't have to have business in order to understand his ideas. If you have a day job, but you still want to be successful, that's a great book. If you have a business, that's absolutely an amazing book to go. So strongly recommend. Number 2, The Blue Ocean Strategy by Chen Kim. I absolutely love this book. His theory, his just explanation of how the market works. Every successful company should create their own blue ocean. There is like red ocean of companies or products that is like very saturated market that it is very hard to compete. It is very hard to market it. It's very expensive on advertisement. There are so many of you how to stand out. Versus the blue ocean is that you create your own world where there is no competition. There is no high cost advertisement. You are the only one and people know. Let's say if you think of browser, where would you go? Most likely it's going to be Google, right? So they created their blue ocean. Their name became just an action word, just Google it. Or if you think of technologies, phones, what's your first? Apple, right? Of course there's Samsung, but again, these companies, they created their own blue ocean and there is no competition over there just because they're the one and only, and why would you do something else? In this book, they explain this idea deeper, and you as an entrepreneur or any business owner, you need to try to create your blue ocean. You need to niche yourself out of your competitors. So there's no competition. You are the one and only who does this. Then it makes it very pleasant to do the business and very inexpensive to market it, to promote it, and to do the PR and to be recognized as a company. This book makes your entrepreneurial life easier. Number 3, Good to Great by James Collins. This is a great book if you already have a business or if you plan to make a great business, if you aim high. And this is actually one of the suggestions by this book, to always aim high. This book gives a deep explanation how to become better and better, how to always grow, how to become great. Because if you're gonna stay good, most likely you're gonna be outbid, outgrown by something else. Most likely you do not live in your blue ocean anymore. If you sustain the level that you're on, that's not gonna last. So you always have to do something to become better and better. So this book has great insights and actually very practical advices. Hey, you need to do this, you need to do that. Strongly recommend. Very inspiring book. Number 4, there are actually 2 books. It's Rich Dad Poor Dad and Cashflow Quadrant by Robert Kiyosaki. Robert Kiyosaki is one of my favorite authors, and I think that my entrepreneurial life started from reading his books. They're very easy to understand. They're very fun. Rich Dad Poor Dad is based on the personal story, and it was storytelling with a lot of insights. And I love the way it's written, very very easy to read and to understand and comprehend, and at the same time there's a lot of life lessons that you should apply yourself. He is telling about his birth dad who was poor dad and his friend's dad who was rich dad, and the advices that they were giving in the same situation and how they're different and which route each decision led to. This book is to understand the mentality of poor people and rich people. So if you notice that some of the people who were rich, they lose something, they can be completely destroyed. They can be below zero, they can owe a lot of money, but they still come back, always come back, just because they have the right mindset that's set on success. Similar situation is actually with the children of successful people, that most likely they would become successful not because of their parents' money, but because of the lifestyle, because of the mindset that they grew up with, because they witnessed the mindset of their successful parents. They saw the decisions that they made, and it's very natural for them to incline to something that is aiming for higher. That's why most of the children of successful people are also successful. It's easier to say, hey, because just they had money. Yeah, a lot of people had money, but not a lot of people stayed wealthy with this money. And the second, after you read, I suggest reading Rich Dad Poor Dad first, just because that sets your mind on something, on wealth, on success, and then move to Cashflow Quadrant. In Cashflow Quadrant, he gives a great idea of how to divide people on 4 quadrants. The first quadrant is employees, second quadrant is self-employed, then business owner, and then investors. And you define yourself where you want to be, and it doesn't mean that you have to reach a certain level. He just defines what that means. If you're in this quadrant, then this is your life and this is how it's gonna be. And if you want to change, if you want something different, then you should do this and that and that. I would say my ego was a little hurt when I was reading this book, just because I was on the employee level and I had no vision on how to become more successful, how to gain more freedom, I would say. At the same time, this book opened my eyes on where I want to go, what I want to do. Moreover, Robert Kiyosaki created a game, like a board game, based on this book. This is my personal life story, and I wish Robert Kiyosaki can hear this story, just because I admire this. So this was 2017, I believe, and my husband and I, we went to Australia for a work trip. Both of us were employed. We were W-2 employees of different companies. Since I read this book of Robert Kiyosaki and I bought the game, and we didn't have time to play this game at home, I brought it with me to Australia. Yeah, I know. And it's like big game, so it took like half of my luggage. But I still brought it, hoping that we would find the time to play it in Australia, which we did. We played it once, just once. There was a game that you have a rat race. There's stocks, there's options, there's, some things to grow your wealth in this game. And there is then a bigger game, a dream or your destiny or something that is like super fulfilling, like something that is bigger than you, something that you make a difference in life. So the goal for this game is get out of the rat race. And we were playing and playing and playing and playing. And then my husband keeps saying, he had some money. And this book is crazy psychological. So we were playing and playing and playing. We were in this rat race for like an hour, for the second hour, for the third hour. We were like, what's going on? And my husband had a lot of money and I had lesser money, but I had more options. So we were kind of equally, but we were still in the rat race. And then he was like, hey, this is stupid. There's no way out. I have all this money, but I can't get out of the rat race. And I was like sitting and looking at him. Yeah, like in real life. So he was holding on to his money, not investing this money, not making this money work for him. That's why he was not getting out of the rat race. He was on an okay position, but he was absolutely not able to get out of the smaller circle to play the big game, to live the real life that he wants to live. And I saw his eyes. He was like, wait, what? And right after we came back from Australia, I think our life changed. So we started moving, we started growing, we started making money moves. And that was actually one of the biggest steps out of our comfort zone, but it's still, now we're playing a bigger game. And I enjoy it, and I am grateful for this game to Robert Kiyosaki, because the book was great, but the game was even better. The next life-changing person is Tony Robbins. I suggest reading 2 of his books. If you've never read his books, strongly recommend. These books are Awakening a Giant Within and Money Master the Game. Awakening the Giant Within is about self-development. It is about identifying who you are, what you want, how to awaken this giant within you, because there is a giant in every single person. We are just holding on tight on our beliefs, on our insecurities, because we feel that it is okay to live like that. It's normal and everyone lives like that. And if we want something different, we need to do something different. This is a very self-development book, very strong, very saturated with a lot of real life experiences and real life advices on what to do, how to do. Very powerful, very strong, very uplifting, very inspiring. And the second, Money Masters the Game, is all about money, how to master the game. Tony Robbins has a lot of investment books, but these 2, I think, is the basics. If you understand, if you follow the lead on these books, then your life would be drastically changed. The next 2 authors and 2 books, I would say, like, we just have to study, not even in high school, but in elementary school or in middle school. In fact, the principle of one of the books is incorporated in private school studies, and I've heard that some of the kids of my friends, they do have classes. So the first book is Emotional Intelligence by Travis Bradbury. This book is not directly about money, it's not about business, but it's about your emotional stability, emotional understanding of your feelings, of your emotions, on how you react, how you comprehend them. I think one of the first real books that my son, my 3-year-old, started reading was emotional intelligence books. I teach him how to identify what he feels, how to deal with it, what it can lead to, how can it help him, or if this is an emotion that might hurt him. And I teach him that all emotions are here and you have to feel what you feel. So your feelings is a given, but your emotions, your reactions to these feelings is something that you need to learn. I know that there is a lot of classes in elementary school, middle school, and high school that are teaching this emotional intelligence of some sort, and I admire this just because it makes it so easy to communicate with a person who understands what's the emotion going on. So sometimes little kids, if they don't know what's going on, they just screaming and yelling, and not this kid's mother or father understands what's going on. I mean, most of the time parents, they do understand what's going on, but still, if a kid does not understand what's going on in his mind and why he's being the way he is being, like why he's being so upset, so stressed, why he has this anxiety, then it's very hard to deal with. Like if you don't know where this emotion is coming from, then you don't know how to react, change it, how to deal with it. The main idea is you feel the feelings, but you understand and control your emotions, which is emotional intelligence. The other book that I was talking about that needs to be taught at school for sure is Mind Power of John Kehoe. It's a tiny book. It's such a kind, such warm, such a happy book. It's so easy to read it, and at the same time it brings such a big wisdom, just because our conscious mind is so small compared to subconscious mind. And if we try to train our subconscious mind to stay happy, to be positive, to train to think good, then you're gonna be doing good. You're going to be feeling good. This is along with Kiyosaki, John Kehoe's book. This Mind Power was the ground level for my personal development. Started my inner growth with this book, and I'm very grateful for this book. It was written in 1987. It's old, but it's still super valid, and it's still very kind, very warm, and I strongly recommend reading this. It's not invasive, it's not very pushy. It does give you wisdom, but in such a warm form that you don't feel overwhelmed. You don't feel that there is too much. What happens with Tony Robbins, let's say, he gives a striking insight in every single sentence, and it's so hard to read just because sometimes you're wait, hold on, let me process it, let me absorb it. Versus John Kehoe is like a blessing that is coming through your mind, through your heart, and it's very warm and it's very good. It's very life-changing, I would say. The next book is more about efficiency. It's a 4-Hour Week by Timothy Timothy Ferris. This book has a lot of controversy. This book has a lot of additions. In fact, in some of the additions, Timothy Ferris said that, like, I don't really follow this anymore, just because it's also fairly old and it was written during the time where the technology was not working as efficient. That's why he was giving an advice on how to become successful without this large access of information and technology. But right now, this 4-hour work week can be transformed to, I don't know, 2-hour work week, or like 0-hour work week, if you connect all the artificial intelligence and all the right people together. But again, this is a great base, and it still gives you an idea how he did that, how he moved from being employed and working 9 to 5 on a day job that he was not really happy, to living abroad, taking, dance lessons, and still being able to make the same amount of money he did before. Last but not least of my favorites is The Diamond Cutter by Geshe Michael Roach. This is another great book that connects Tibetan mindset, wisdom, and spirituality with the Western world, high-speed flow with the technologies, and that book combines spirituality with business. It has a storytelling about the diamond cutting industry, how that works. It also gives this Tibetan wisdom on this process. Technically, the idea of this book is finding your true passion, finding something greater than just you, some purpose in your life that can change the world, can make an impact, and at the same time combining it with business so you enjoy the process, achieving your goal while staying wealthy and enjoy your life and living luxury life, so you don't have to become a monk, achieve your bigger goal, so you can still achieve this goal while living in this Western world. Love this book, also very inspiring, brings a lot of insights, and that's very close to my idea. Just today I had a meeting where I was asked, what's the main purpose of you selling the soap that you're making? The first thought, I'm like, hey, well, just because every single person needs to try my soap, just because once you try it, you realize how good that is healing your skin, that is helping the skin to retrain itself to stay younger for longer. I think every single person needs to do it just because it's easy to use, it's bringing you health, it's saving you money, it's saving you time, it's saving the planet, it's fully sustainable product. That was my main goal, main idea, and I want to help a lot of people who has eczema, who has any skin problem. Yes, of course I want to make money, yes, of course I want to stay wealthy, but the main idea, the main purpose of it is to help people, is to make an impact, to make this world better. This Diamond Cutter book, I root to this book a lot in this aspect. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. I read a lot. I think I read like a book a week at least, since we live in a very fast-paced world and I can afford reading physical books, even though I love physical books. I found a way that if I drive to pick up my son, I listen to the book. If I do my routine, brush my teeth or wash my face with my soap, or if I do groceries, so something, still listen to books. So I try to make it efficient. I love sci-fi books, so I try to alternate a book that gives me some kind of wisdom, insights, some kind of mindset with just a sci-fi book that might or might not have a deeper meaning. I should say I try to alternate helpful books with pleasure books. It doesn't happen all the time, and sometimes I need to unwind. I read pleasure books more than I read helpful books. I really suggest you reading these books and taking a break after each book to absorb it, to rethink what you read, just because these books are life-changing. Again, thank you for watching. Please don't forget to click like, subscribe button to avoid missing new videos, and I'll see you next time. Bye.